Hello and welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room for another edition of Transfer Central. Today we're joined by Jack, Sebastian, or Tino, and Jay. Jack, I'll start with you today in lovely, not humid America. How's your day going?
It's warmer than you've got it over there in the UK, but we trade off the less humidity with the more raw heat. So I don't know where I'd rather be. I'm comfortable right now. I'm enjoying it. It should be an interesting day. Obviously, it's a sad day. It feels like Darwin Day is years ago. We've had a lot of more negative news, and obviously Sadio Mane officially going today. I had a pretty positive feeling seeing all those tweets and kind of just seeing his career in those compilations. I thought he could be very proud, and I'm very proud of what he did in his 6 years here. But obviously, there's a lot of emotions there. But no, I'm doing quite well, Charlie. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's too warm, as you can see. I've got my arms out. I've got my little American, what do you call them? Like
Tank
hillbillies.
tops?
Yeah, I'm a little like hillbilly with my tank top, looking like an
Wife beater.
American. Yeah, so it's too warm in the UK, as I'm sure everybody in the UK knows at the moment. I'm waiting for it to absolutely piss it down so this humidity goes. But Tino, another fellow UK lander person, I don't know where I'm going with that, but how are you doing today?
I'm good. Finished work. It was quite a relaxing day at work, and then to come to see the news of Sadio officially gone was a bit gutting, but it's something that we've obviously known about for a while. So yeah, it's been kind of a mixed day.
Yeah, and Jay, yourself?
Good, mate. I'm just proud of myself that I haven't become an alcoholic with the good weather. It's too tempting when the sun's out. So, yeah, I'm not pissed in a ditch somewhere. So I'm quite pleased with myself.
I see. That's why you just don't drink, Jay. You just enjoy the sun when it's being nice. But yeah, everybody joining. Adam, Akra, apologies if I said your name wrong there. But make sure you do get your comments in. We'll try and bring them up. Also, leave a like on the video and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. I'm going to warn people this is going to be a shorter-ish one, not the hour 15 one we had last time. With thanks to mine and Jack's Sadio Mane debate. It's a Mo Salah debate, which will be when's that Friday? Me and Jack are going to do a sit-down debate talking about Mohamed Salah, so make sure you do tune in for that. But the first story, we're just going to get straight into it. Sadio Mane has officially left Liverpool after 6 years at the club. He has left for, including add-ons, it comes to around 40 million. So just shy of what, or just over what we got him for. Or maybe just shy, I can't remember. It's around the price we got him for from Southampton all them years ago. But Jack, it's a sad day, but as Klopp said, he's leaving a Liverpool legend, and you've got to appreciate what he's done for the club.
I think that this could have, I totally think there's an interesting subtext to it where there was always the Salah versus Mane debate. You have all the fans saying, oh, he's going somewhere he's going to be really appreciated. And I don't think he was unappreciated at Liverpool. I think that he did tremendous work over 6 years. We did tremendous business in signing him for the price we did, and selling him with a year left. He still has a lot left in the tank, but I think we saw that he's not the explosive guy he was when we signed him, when he was that unbelievably complete winger. Now he's more of a intelligent movement off the ball, decent technical skill, unbelievable finisher. He'll thrive in a Bayern side that will dominate possession, and he'll be able to kind of change the way he plays a little bit to tailor his career change as well. So I think it's just a great bit of business, and I wish that we had made a signing or two that maybe we should be appreciative of Darwin Nunez and make him, and that should counteract it. But it almost feels like there's a doom and gloom aspect to it of us letting him go, when it feels like this is the perfect decision for all parties. I've said that for weeks now. I think that you have to have refreshment, not just for individuals, but for a squad. It's sad that it's a guy who has to go that I have a deep connection with, but it was going to be somebody eventually. And I think it was a really, really good career. I'm happy that it happened, and I wish him truly the best at Bayern. I think he's going to be unbelievable there. He could be one of the best, if not the best player at Bayern next year, next few years, and that's a big, big deal for him. Charlie, you're muted.
I unmuted myself and I muted myself again. But Tino, it's sad to see him go, but there was reports he was asking for 400 grand a week. His new wage at Bayern Munich's 360 grand a week. It had with them that wages involved. It had to happen, didn't it?
Yeah, the wages that the reported, we were never going to pay that price. If we're not paying it for Mane or Virgil or any of the other big stars, Salah or Virgil or any of the other big stars in our side, we're not going to do it for Sadio. It felt like the right, as much as it pains me to say it, it's certainly the right time for him to move on. He's had such a huge impact. He was that first big signing from Jurgen Klopp that really set us on the way to where we are now. He started when we weren't the greatest side, and now we're arguably one of the best in world football. And what he's done for the club, you can't take that away from him. So without a shadow of doubt, it was the right time to move, to headed into next season. Next summer, we'd have had Bobby, Salah and Mane all out of contract. If I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but and that's a tough thing to do, to replace all three all in one summer and then sign a midfielder on top of that, given our midfield does need some regeneration. It's a tough ask. So for him to leave this summer kind of made sense for all parties. I agree with Jack on that one. But yeah, it's a tough one to take. But the counteracting that with Darwin Núñez does ease it a little bit. But yeah, it's certainly a tough one to take, and the price that we've managed to get for him seemingly is a relatively good price in comparison to his deal, in comparison to his age, how long he had left. So overall, all around it does make a lot of sense. It's done. It still hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, there's a lot of people talking about, we need to sign a replacement for him, another wide player. My personal opinion is Luis Diaz coming 6 months earlier than we had planned for because of the Spurs trying to sign him. I probably think Luis Diaz is Sadio Mane's long-term replacement. But going more into, how we are going to replace him, do you think we might change style or maybe head in a different direction to what we're used to, with obviously, Salah's going to be leaving next year, as reports are saying, and Mane's gone this year, Firmino's gone. It's a brand new look attack, isn't it? Especially without Mane in there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how long Liverpool have been aware that Mane wants to move on. And I wonder if getting Diaz in was because they were aware that he has intentions of getting off. In terms of our style of playing now, I don't think it changes too much. I know obviously Mane played in a false nine the second part of the season, but he predominantly played left wing until we got Diaz. So Diaz will naturally take that position over. Núñez would obviously go through the middle, and Salah obviously where Salah always is. I think if we were to get someone to replace Mane, it wouldn't be a player who actually played in his position. It'd need to be someone on Salah's side because we're short on his side. I don't like Jota on the right. I don't particularly like Diaz on the right. And Núñez is always going to be central, really, even though he drifts in from the left. He's a centre forward. So, yeah, that's it. It's a sad time when a legend leaves, but we got his best years and we got the money back we paid for him. So, it makes sense for everyone. He's won everything he can. He'll win a lot more. And he's made the boss wage off the back of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go on to the next one, I'm just going to go around and ask everybody what their favourite Sadio Mane moment is. Jack, I'll let you think about this, but everyone else can think about it too. My favourite moment is probably his Bayern Munich goal. I think, he said that was one of his favourite goals, and I think, that goal really propelled us to the final that year. So it was a stunning goal and a great moment. But Jack, I'll go with you.
I don't know the exact year because he did it so many times. It might have been the season opener against Arsenal, not on his debut, but when he kind of gets the ball on the left wing, drives the defender a little bit, cuts inside. He's just inside the penalty area, but on the far left side, and he hits it with his right, and it just beautifully curls and catches the side netting on the far corner, and he kind of just tails off for a celebration. The aesthetics on that goal, the ability required for that. They don't make him like Mane anymore. I was thinking about a guy we signed like him, his skill set, when we signed him in 2016, there's no one like him on the market. He's such a one-of-a-kind player when we bought him that it was genuinely such an unbelievable purchase. So, yeah, that goal didn't have the craziest implications. I think we still won that match handedly, I believe. If someone remembers it more distinctly, feel free to let me know. But just the way that he took that goal, it will live long in my memory, at least, Charlie.
Yeah, Tino.
That's tough. That is really, really tough. If I'm thinking Merseyside derby, December 2016. I believe, if my memory is correct, he scored the winner.
Yeah, it bounced off the post from a Daniel Sturridge shot.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess that just because of how late it was in the game. I think it was like 90 plus minute.
I think it was 96.
Something like that. Such a huge goal, winner in a derby. As a Liverpool player, don't really get much bigger than that.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, you've got a fair few to pick from, so I'll let you go.
To be fair, mate, the Bayern Munich one was a big one for me as well. I loved that goal. But the other one that I love is his debut goal, his first ever goal against Arsenal, where he cuts inside of it on his left and he's right-footed. Couldn't have put it any more in the corner. And I think the celebration sort of iconic. That was the start of everything we've done the last few years, and him jumping on Klopp's back. You could see the togetherness, and that was the start of what we're at now. So I'd say the Arsenal goal and the Bayern one, but you said it, so Arsenal.
Yeah, he's got so many great goals. I don't mean to be mean to him, but I don't think he's got that many big moments per se. You look at Divock Origi and he's got so many big moments, but Sadio Mane, he scored when we needed to. Another amazing goal was one against Manchester City, when about 5 seconds before he hit the exact same shot and it hit the bar, and then he'd done it again and put it in the top corner. So
was that the left-footed one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of that, but I didn't know it was against.
Yeah, it was that
4-3
game. Yeah, so. Yeah. It's sad to see Mane leave. He is a Liverpool legend. We all love him, but it felt like it was the right time to part away from him, and we wish him all the best. But before we go on to the next story, if you are new, make sure you do leave a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. Also, subscribe with the bell notification on so you don't miss any of our videos. Next story is Takumi Minamino. Recently, he actually said that he was feeling unimportant at the club, that he wasn't within his own body. I don't know if that was a translation thing, but I guess sort of happened like that. Yeah, he just wasn't feeling in a good position with Liverpool, and to Minamino's credit, he hasn't really spoken out about Liverpool that much and how he dislikes his position. But after that quote, it has been revealed that Monaco have agreed a deal worth 15.5 million with Liverpool to sign Takumi Minamino. Jack, it finally looks like this transfer is happening. He's obviously been linked with a lot of Premier League clubs. It looks like we're going to be making about 7-8 million on him. It's a good deal, but it is sad to see him leave, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And to me, it doesn't make sense. If he goes and you're not signing another forward, you're just kind of hamstringing yourself for no apparent reason. I mean, if he's pining to go, fair. It's fine to let him go. He was a big contributor to the 2 trophies we won last year. But for what he was able to bring, he went through, clearly as it appears from his comments, physical turmoil, physical struggle, but he was still top class when he had those brief moments he had to appear, which is such a remarkable testament. You talk about backup goalkeepers and how they have to always prepare, always train as if they're going to start their matches, and then come match day, they're sitting on the bench watching. That was him week in, week out, pushing these forwards that he just seemingly could not knock off for the big matches. And he did get dealt a bit of a bad hand in that regard, because did any of us, or did Klopp, or did anybody really give him a chance to knock off one of the forwards to start? He was almost always, when he was signed, acknowledged as a backup. I don't think that was a wrong decision, but you can definitely imagine the mental toll and difficulty that can have. If we're not bringing anyone in, it makes no sense to sell him. And if we're selling him because he wants to go, we need to sign somebody, because his impact was huge. And losing him, and I agree with Jen's comment, losing him and keeping Oxlade, just not good decision making for me. If he goes to Monaco, I think he could kill it. In there as a 10-15 goal a season in the league player. He got 10 goals with very little game time at Liverpool. He could really, really do well in a side that has a front three or a front four that has a lot of tight interplay behind the lines, because he looked really good in that Southampton match where he was able to combine with Jota and Firmino really well. So I'm interested with what his next move in his career looks like. I'm sad it won't be at Liverpool, it appears, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, Tino, it is a bit, we have to replace 10 goals at the end of the day, don't we? We've brought in Fabio Carvalho. Will he play a similar position to him? Who knows? But it does seem like we need to replace him, doesn't it?
It feels that way. You can't lose Divock and then Takumi Minamino and not actually replace those, even though they may not have played a whole bunch of games, but when they came on as that backup in the cups competitions, you lose a lot, because it allows your front three, it allows the rest of the main starting team to rest and to heal up, because we play a lot of games every single season. So to not bring someone in, I think, is the wrong decision. You look at his Liverpool career, I don't think anybody really expected him to come in and actually push the front three for a starting spot. I really don't. I think he'd have been mad if he was thinking he could come in instantly and actually challenge for a first team spot. I don't think he's good enough. But as a player coming off the bench, as a player who you've got as a backup when you need him in the cup competitions, it's so important to have those players in the squad. And I think the fact that he's only just come out recently and said, listen, I want to play first team football, I'm not getting any younger. I think, as we've explained, it's a testament to his attitude and how he's worked within the club and in training. He's never complained. He's never come out in the media, in the press. I think that's a testament to who he is as a person. I think the deal as a whole is a positive one. Whether now we're evidently selling him, we're making a profit on his transfer fee. We're looking at, we've talked about previously the financial benefit and commercial benefit he brings as someone from Asia, and the market that allows us to have a wider access to it. I don't think the transfer is a bad one. It's just, I don't think he's impressed, or I don't think anybody expected him to come in and instantly start challenging and be that one of the world-class players we have. But it's one of those kind of mediocre transfers in my mind. It's worked out. It's done well. We've made a profit on him, and he's seems like a nice guy, and he's got a great attitude. But it's just he isn't gonna instantly push for a starting spot. He was never that type of signing.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, it's a bit like, you can't sniff up a defeat it's a great fee for somebody. But you look at next season, we're going to be having 5 subs, 9 people on the bench. It does hurt Liverpool's depth. And you're not really going to find anyone who's going to be willing to sit on the bench. Like, he wasn't willing to do it. He wasn't happy with it. But he did it, and he did it quite well, didn't he?
Can I be honest? I'm not really asked about him leaving at all. Like, I know a lot of lads on our channel really like him, but I'd never have him starting against a City or a Chelsea or a United or a Derby. I wouldn't put him there any of them games to start. And even coming off the bench, I'd pick other people over him. It's very rare he was even in a Premier League squad, and I understand his contributions in the Cups. Great, but who are we playing? We never played anyone in the Cups. We played City, but he didn't play. So that goes to show what people thought of him, really. You can play against the Championship or League One side or a struggling side, great, but 17 million or 15 million for him, mate, we've absolutely smashed it. I'd well rather see a kid playing in them League Cup games like Kay Gordon, or Elliott was injured a lot. He can play on that right-hand side instead of the right in midfield. So I've got to be honest, mate, I'm really not bothered by it. He's done a good job when he was asked to, but I'd never play him in a big game, personally.
I agree with that sentiment, Jay, and I hope the guy we signed to replace him, or whoever steps up to replace him, there is a trust for that big game, because you can't have guys like Salah or Diaz or Nunez feel like their spots in these big contests are just a given, because that's how you get the complacency that sometimes you get. But I agree. Like, did you ever think Taki actually had a chance for starting one of those matches? No. He may appear for like 5 minutes, but Klopp didn't trust him, and that was evident. And I hope that he gets someone he does trust, because that's an important role that I think could really lead to an improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to go around and ask everybody the favourite Takumi Minamino moment, because there's not many to choose from. But yeah, I think I'll sum it up. It's I don't think anyone would be bothered if he stayed, but for 15.5 million, you can't really turn that down for someone we paid 7-8 million for. So, and I'm sure he will do very good in Monaco next season. Never know, maybe challenging Kylian Mbappe to the Golden Boot. But
I wish him all the best, by the way. It might sound like I don't there. I do wish him all the best. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a big loss.
Yeah, definitely. Again, guys, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you leave a like on the video. It helps us out a lot. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with the bell notification on. We go live every day at 7:30, and we have 1, 2, maybe even 3 videos a day before the live stream. So lots of Liverpool content for you. Okay, our final story of the day, one that has a lot of people going. According to Calcio Mercato Web, Inter Milan don't want to sell their assets this summer, but Liverpool are, in quotation marks, want to snatch Nicolo Barella away from them, someone we have been linked with a lot. However, Inter Milan value him at 90 million euros, something Liverpool are not willing to do. So what they have mentioned, or what another source have mentioned, Inter Live said that Liverpool would be willing to include Naby Keita in a swap deal plus money. I don't know if that's Naby Keita on a brand new contract or Naby Keita on a 1-year contract. I think that makes a lot of difference. But Jack, Barella would be a perfect Jurgen Klopp midfielder, wouldn't he?
He'd be a top-class signing. I think he'd be brilliant. In terms of how he'd compare to Keita right now, I'm unsure. He's 25, Barella is. He's slightly younger than Keita. And he has, I think, a higher ceiling, less injury, the physicality. So that kind of swap, it's not ideal to lose Keita to bring in Barella. I think Barella is an improved option, but it doesn't really help with the rotation. It helps our top end by getting a really creative passer who could play that right central midfield spot. And Conte played him as the base of a midfield 3 when he had his 3-5-2 that he won the Serie A with when he was there. So he's capable of kind of also being a more progressive defensive midfielder. it'd be a really good signing, but I would love for it to be without giving up Keita. I know that's probably an ideal world. I just don't see it happening, to be honest. He just seems like a guy who's comfortable in Milan, and it feels like we're not going to rock the boat enough to sign him. And that's as simple as that. So I don't know. I think if it happens, I'll be brilliantly happy, but I'll also be very surprised if it gets anywhere close to that.
I mean, Tino, it's 90 million's a lot of money, isn't it, at the end of the day? And we definitely won't be paying that much for him. But, if Naby Keita signs a new contract and we were to swap him and maybe, 60 million, 50 million euros, I think that would be a good deal for a position we definitely need.
Yeah, 100% with you. I don't think 90 million, even if we do a swap deal with Naby Keita, I don't see Inter going for that. As much as I love Nicola Barella, and I know we've spoken about him quite a lot on this show previously, 4 goals, 13 assists, his pressing stats are phenomenal. He's really fit well into our midfield. He's such an unrealistic signing from and the stories from such an unreliable source as well. The swap deal for Naby Keita is I don't see it happening. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Naby Keita, I have to admit I'm not a huge fan. I don't think he's done enough or showed enough in his time at Liverpool to really grab my attention and think, wow, this guy's good. He's had little bursts here and there, but I really don't see us doing a swap deal at all. As much as I'd love it, and as much as I really, really do want Nicola Barella in a Liverpool shirt, I really don't see it happening. He's a phenomenal player, and certainly our midfield, everybody's talked about it a hell of a lot. We really, really do need to strengthen our midfield, but I don't think doing a one-to-one swap would be the right move. I think if you bring in someone of Nicola Barella's quality and you bring him in and don't do a swap deal, you don't get rid of Naby Keita or Ox or whoever it is. I think you have to bring him in just with playing cash, because you don't really improve. You're not going anywhere if you're doing a swap deal or adding a player to that. If you kind of get what I'm saying. I do love him as a player, Nicola Barella. I think he's phenomenal, incredibly consistent, unbelievably talented on the ball. And like I say, his pressing stats are second to none in the Serie A. So he'd certainly fit well into the way we play and the manner in which we play. I just don't see it happening. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, he's being class fit into Milan. I do want to bring up something though. Somebody said, where's it, bear with me, not many success stories in the Premier League with Italian players. It seems like, unless I'm missing somebody glaringly obvious, I feel like the Italian league it's so different from the Premier League, like the most different league. Players don't really come over here and perform like they did in a much slower league. They have so much time on the ball, where in the Premier League you don't have any time on the ball. You might have a second if that. But saying that, we've missed out on Aurelian Tchouameni. It doesn't look like we're getting Jude Bellingham this summer, and next summer we're going to be in a race with a lot of clubs for everyone for Jude Bellingham's signature. He is not a bad alternative if we do miss out on Jude Bellingham, is he?
I said in my summer video, mate, I wanted Bellingham or Barella, one or the other. And whichever one we didn't get this year, I wanted the other one next year. I don't think there's any legs to the rumour at all. But if there was, I'd give Naby Keita a piggyback to Inter Milan. If it was to swap Barella, I'd find and carry him there. Barella is class, mate. Absolutely class. I'm not asked what other Italian players have or haven't done at us. Barella's a top quality player. He's that good that I reckon he could win you the league. Midfield of him for being old Thiago, that's a serious midfield. So I'd love him, mate, but I just don't think the room has got any legs, to be honest. But it makes me wonder who we will be looking at, because we've missed you many. And the reports now are saying something like Liverpool are going to be reluctant to pay the demands of Bellingham next season. So that makes me think, well, what's left? If they were your priorities and you can't get either one, well, what are you waiting for now? You're saying you don't want to stop that, but your two main targets are probably not going to come. So you need a plan B. And Barella to tick every box for me, mate.
We also had that tweet today that referenced that Trent has 3 years left in his contract, and he's one of the top 4 earners. I have it up right here. I should look at it. He's the 4th highest earner, just behind Van Dijk, Thiago, and Salah. And he's the only guy like in the top 10 who's under the age of 25.
That is a brand new contract, though. He got that last summer.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that, but the issue then rises is, so he's going to be 25, 26 when he's getting a new contract. He's still in line for 2 more contracts, basically. Versus a guy like Bellingham, he could have multiple contracts in him. I think Barella makes a lot more sense than Bellingham in certain regards, because he's got that defensive attributes that you want from a Klopp midfielder. But something that I've struggled with is you have he needs to defend, they need to cover for the fullbacks who are the creative outlets. Sure, that's true, but the midfielders are allowed to touch the ball too. They're allowed to play passes. And for a guy like Nicola Barella, he will do the dirty work. He will cover defensively. He'll track defenders and track runs from deep really, really well, and also be a really nice threat on the ball in terms of creativity, passing, and carrying with the ball. So I don't see. I think the next progression this side is a midfielder who doesn't drastically change the way we play, but also has a different element to his game. He had 11 assists last year for Inter. He's a really brilliantly creative player who could really change the way we play. Now, 90 million is quite pricey, but that is the going rate for guys like him who have such a varied arsenal of skills.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the midfielders in the world, a right-sided midfielder, and I feel like so many clubs need a world-class one, and there's not many world-class one going round. I mean, I remember when the Aurelien Tchouameni story, we got linked with him for 40 million euros, and because Real Madrid missed out on Mbappe, and the fact that Mbappe is now their sporting director and owner and manager, that price went up to 100 million within literally the space of 2 weeks. So you look at Jude Bellingham now, 80 million pounds this summer, guarantee you that'll get up to 150 million pounds next summer, or pushed over 120 minimum. So, and I think you do look at Barella, and there's not many. He seems happy at Inter at the moment, and I don't think there's many clubs willing to maybe take a risk on him. It would be a safer option. I understand where everyone's coming from, and he is an amazing player, no doubt about it. But I think you go after Jude this summer. I've been saying it forever. You literally give Dortmund what they want. I don't care if he wants 300 grand a week. You get him down to 250 and say, okay, thank you, Jude. That's it. But it's the midfield is such a horrible situation, and that we've only got ourselves to blame for that, for giving Jordan Henderson a 3-year extension when he's rubbish, and all the other crap we've got in midfield. So it is sad times. And we're not selling Ox, and given as much as I love James Milner, if he's even a 4th choice midfielder this summer, 5th choice, I'm going to flip, because giving him an extension when we need a midfielder, it is hard. But
look, yeah, our midfielders won't. Well, here's the thing, right? Is we contended for a title, for 4 titles last year with these midfielders, with this system. So it's not like it's impossible, but we also didn't win the title because when Thiago wasn't available, we struggled to draws. We can compete for titles, and we could definitely win titles next year with this midfield. But it's so infuriating that we put ourselves from a position where we can compete, and we're just there to signing Barella, and that pushes you over, gets you over that hump. Signing Bellingham gets you over that hill and pushes you forward. So for me, like, we've just been comfortable going one signing short, and for years. And like, you just think about what a midfielder would have done last summer, what a center back would have done 2 years ago, and the knock-on effect it would have. The squad, I think a reckoning is coming when you have a squad that's aging. People talk about the squad aging. If we don't sign anybody next summer, is going to be an overhaul is required. You have Thiago, Fabinho, Robertson, Salah, Firmino, all as core players who are all going to be nearing, the end almost. And I agree with Joker. I'm not like FSG out, but they do expect Klopp to pull a lot of miracles, a lot of cats out of bags, because he did brilliant things with our signings that not many managers could do. So I don't know. I just think we won something, and I'm confident for trophies. Right now, I'm skeptical.
I've said that all along. The amount of times we've been one player short. I'm not saying we would have won the quadruple next season, but it elevates our chances. We all knew we needed a midfielder, and we're now going in. We knew that last summer, and now we're going into this summer with not even signing a new midfielder. Keeping Oxlade-Chamberlain, keeping James Milner. We've just signed a new contract with Henderson, and of course we love these players, but there's no room for sentimentality in football, and that can hurt you in the long run. And as Jack said there, I'm honestly worried if we go into next season, at the end of next season, and all these players haven't agreed contracts. You've got, as much as I don't rate him, you've got Ox, you've got Keita, you've got Salah, you've got Firmino, all leaving. Jordan Henderson will be in his last year. James Milner's gone. There's 5 players who are definitely gone, and they all need replacing. And it feels very irresponsible to put Julian Ward, someone who is brand new in the job. As much as Michael Edwards rates him, it feels very irresponsible to be just doing it all in one summer and hoping Klopp works miracles. But that is a topic for another day, because I'm sure we all feel very strongly about that. But thank you, everybody, so much for joining with it. Only a short one today, because it is absolutely boiling in the UK. But Jack, Tino, Jay, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you go and check out all their social medias. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this video. Also, go and check out Jack's Asensio video. It was really well made, so go and check that out. Got loads of content coming up for the next few days, so make sure you are subscribed. But I've been Charlie. This has been the LFC Transfer Room. And